Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Lizzo body shaming other people. Really, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Lizzo's catching a lot of heat right now because there's some crazy allegations going against her. Not only because of a
Yeah,
toxic working environment, but also some very nasty allegations that we'll talk about later. And I'm gonna be honest with you
that is
all.
crazy.
Some of y'all look crazy on the timeline saying it's about time we got Lizzo out of here. Y'all ready to pack her up and stuff like that. If you did your due diligence, you actually looked into it. I'm kind of torn, dog.
Really?
I'm kind of torn that ass.
Really?
No. Let me be clear. The nasty stuff is just nasty. I can't.
That's odd.
But the other stuff. So there's been 3 dancers who came out who are filing a lawsuit,
Oh.
and normally we would just allow both sides to talk about how there's been 3
You said
dancers
3,
who
that's
came out
4.
who are filing a lawsuit, and normally we would just allow both sides to talk. But however, after there were other people behind the scenes who backed these statements as well, claiming that yes,
Yeah, people who
was
aren't
toxic.
suing.
Yes, they were disappointment. Yes, they felt like they were forced to do things that make them uncomfortable. And so when you see smoke, we're now getting to the point where it's not just smoke, it's starting to be fire. More people who've been dealing with this beyond the lawsuit itself.
Before.
Some
Or
saying like 3 years ago, like stating things that were happening 3 years ago. So it's been an ongoing theme. So let's start nasty first. The nasty one is, they had Lizzo,
That's crazy.
after a couple sessions, after a concert, after a performance, she was like, hey, come on out, man. We're in Amsterdam, man. Let's have a ball, man. Go to the red light district, man. I know this crazy bar, man. Call it a banana bar.
I'm gonna go to the show where you eat the banana out the pussy.
What the
Which one
hell?
is that?
This is a banana bar.
That's the banana bar?
I didn't even know that
The
was a
banana
thing.
in the coochie?
And ping pong balls.
And you have to go.
You wouldn't believe the things that they do at Banana.
Banana nasty,
so,
though.
For those who don't know what the
I don't
banana
even
bar
like-
is, they have performers. I don't even know if you call them strippers. I don't know what they are. They got performers,
They be calling themselves entertainers now.
entertainers. Call
Yeah.
them a room full of entertainers.
Yes, hella entertainers.
And one of the group of entertainers, booty butt naked, and the party trick is she has a banana out of her hoo-ha. And then Lizzo and a couple of other people were kind of egging on some of the other dancers, saying, "Come on, eat that. Go on, eat that. Get that.
Nah,
get
that's
that banana
crazy.
out of there.
Yeah.
Go and get that." And so, of course, this made some people feel very uncomfortable to the point where one of the dancers who are following the case as well, her name is Miss Davis. She's actually a virgin. She has not had sex. She wants to keep it that way. She likes her purity. And she felt like she was personally targeted not only in this incident, but also multiple other incidents as well because of her identity and pushing her into like, hey, you ain't gotta eat it. Just touch that thing. Touch it. So she touched it, felt mad uncomfortable, and then stated it to some of the security guards as well. Like, yeah, I really wasn't feeling that. I'm not okay with that. And that is by far some of the nastiest things I heard.
Yeah.
Where I'm not split on it. That's just disgusting. I don't know what else to do with. Now, people are gonna ask, well, why do it? Why would you sit here and put your mouth near a banana hanging out a woman's hoo-ha? That's crazy. Now, for those who don't know a little bit more about backstory, the dancers have been going through a back and forth about how they were trying to, get their time on stage and make sure that they retain their position with Lizzo's performance crew. So they want to make sure they were there. And because it's such a selective-based type of process where they pick and choose which dancer is going to go on them on tour, of course, a lot of them feel like they're pressured to do things
Makes
to
sense.
appeal to Lizzo, make her feel comfortable, and
Kiss
be
ass.
more, non-argumentative or non-disagreeable. So they felt like, if I say this, she may not feel that comfortable around me. I'm trying to please Lizzo so she can potentially continue to pick me. And that's the reason why that kind of led into this situation. That's just disgusting. I don't know no other way to put it.
That's just weird.
Yeah.
That's weird behavior.
If you're my friend and I'm like, come on, Lo, go on the ride, that's one thing. But if I employ Lo and I say, go on the ride, it's a different vibe now
Yeah.
because there's potentially consequences to him saying no. Like, there's no friendship consequence to him saying no to something I'm trying to push him to do or persuade him
That's
to do.
true.
So it just changes the dynamic a little bit when you're their money source. Like, now they don't want to say no to you in certain things. You have to be a little careful on how you push people because sometimes you can really break somebody if you push them incorrectly, especially when you have that type of power.
And actually, going on to pushing, there's actually more of this as well. There was incidents where they came in, they felt like they weren't performing to their standards. So Lizzo was like, after doing a whole practice, like I think they said 45 or an hour minute practice, Lizzo was like, that's not good enough. Do it again. And what was supposed to be a light, hour, 2 hour type of practice turned out to be very extensive. So much so that, again, one of the dancers that are filing a suit, she ended up soiling herself. And again,
That's
once
crazy.
more, providing a very negative environment. Again, like he just stated before, you're not going to say no because it's like Lizzo was like demanding this out of you and stuff like that. And I think it's actually very important to further the dynamics about Lizzo in this type of situation. So for those who don't know, Lizzo, voluptuous, is that the PC?
You could just say obese.
I'm fat. I can't say it.
Yeah, you are.
Fat singer. She's a fat singer, so she started hiring fat dancers. And so the concept of who Lizzo is supposed to be inviting, because that's the whole premise of not only who she is as a singer, as an artist, but also as an individual, and also how she's trying to mold her lane in the industry and stuff like that. And so when she does things like this, that is excessive, that
shaming by former dancers,
that makes people uncomfortable.
That is crazy.
It kind of does defeat the purpose of who is she supposed to be and all of this and stuff like that. So that's another thing. So even if, because some people are claiming because this was like offset and this is like somewhere else, that potentially the nasty work of putting your face in their banana in a woman's hoo-ha may not be legally binding, because that's not necessarily on set. However, in a public opinion, Lizzo will definitely lose this. She's gonna lose. I mean, there's just no other way around it. Like, that's your whole identity. That's who you are as a person. That's who you built yourself out to be. She has a whole documentary kind of like scaling that out as well. Like, man, I just felt
Really
so hard. And
75-cent boneless wings from Pizza Hut.
Those look fire.
Our prices dip.
Haha, dip.
the
You
industry
get it?
just don't like people like me. They just don't like big girls, and I want it. I'm gonna force my way into the industry, and it's gonna be big girls, black women, and we're all gonna support each other. We're gonna make each other nice and comfortable in this environment. Eat that fucking banana out there, bitches.
Bro.
Eat that shit.
When
That's
it comes
crazy.
to workplace toxicity stuff, which most of the stuff she's being accused of is just like, she's just a hard boss. Like, we've all had hard bosses.
That's what I thought as well.
She's a hard, but the problem is her brand
Yes.
is too nice and inclusive for her to pull this off. Steve Jobs can say and do all those things, run it back. Kanye West can say, keep run it back, run it back. It needs to be perfect.
Kobe
But
can say that,
but she can't because she's known for being inclusive and welcoming. Problem is that like some of the dancers also, because she made comments about their weight, they felt the need to justify themselves. So now they're also saying she was fat shaming some of the dancers as well.
That's crazy.
Might have gained weight since the last thing. And the one person who, the lady I'm talking about specifically, had a binge eating problem.
Miss Davis.
Oh.
Yeah, you know about those, bro, because I had one myself. You feel me? So sometimes it's just like, bro, when you're wired like that, but like it's something hard to break out of. But anyway, point is, some misinclusive here, caught fat shaming people does feel off brand. That's what this is to me. This is just somebody
So are you
acting
split,
off
though?
brand.
Are you split though?
Nah, I don't think the shit I don't think the coercion in the workplace toxicity is like worth this hoopla.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a thing you should address, but I don't think it's worth like everybody screaming about. The banana incident,
It's
I feel like
disgusting.
it's weird, and that's just nasty.
That's
But if she just had a more rude or toxic brand, like she'd probably get away with doing a lot of this stuff, and it would probably blow over pretty quickly. Now I'm curious to see what her POV is. To be fair, like what it seems like is a lot of people is coming out to work just to say like, damn, she is a very difficult person to work with, and she's very rude to a lot of the dancers, and it's off-putting because that's not how her fans know her. Her fans know her as this really nice, bubbly, like outspoken. I'm for the big girls inclusivity, and then the whole time she's not acting like that behind the scenes.
Well, let's in terms of the other toxic work environment. To further it, like I said before, Miss Davis and another lady, I believe her name is Miss Williams, they felt targeted. Now, this is where again some of the other things could potentially push you in this direction. So, like he said, there was some, as this is what it was stated in the document, some loosely veiled comments being made about her weight, which then she correlated that to her being specifically isolated, which then also specifically led to them being labeled as quote unquote lazy, which then also led to the extended dance rehearsal where she saw it herself, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the line of how everything happened. The problem is like Agent is saying though, is that even as I look at it, there really isn't any like hardcore evidence of.
It's more like a strict
you're
boss
just
that's an
fat,
ass.
lazy slob.
That's
It's
ass.
just like conclusion that she's jumping to, and it
A horrible
sounds
boss.
crazy that she's jumping to those conclusions.
Well, probably
because
not a horrible.
everyone-
Maybe a horrible.
Everyone in a dance in the backup dancers, they're all fat. All of them probably deal with some form of depression throughout some point in their life. All of them probably dealt with some level of binge eating. All of them have probably dealt with the same thing that she's dealt with. Also, a good portion of them are black as well. She claimed there was some potential racism as well. I read through all the documents. I couldn't really see any correlation in it at all.
Yeah, like
it was just jumping to a lot of conclusions, and I think a lot of media sites jumped on it and ran with it. without actually like doing your thorough due diligence. And when you actually look at it, like Agent said, it really just comes across as a lot of, you know, industry talk or a lot of industry things, or especially in the dance world where the rehearsals are brutal, where you are going to have to go over and over and over again.
And
the
have to
same
get it
steps,
perfect.
and you have to extend the rehearsal longer than you probably anticipated, or you may not have certain nights or days where you feel up to par, or there may be times where someone in the dance crew or whatever, you don't mesh well with them, or there may be activities that are happening that you're not comfortable with that can then lead to your performance being dropping or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree. Like, I think that maybe people have built Lizzo into this being of like, oh, she's happy-go-lucky, she's positive, and then as soon as they get behind the scenes, she's like, dance, bitch, you did it wrong. Let me show you how to do this, you dumb bitch. Like, she probably did all that.
If she did that, that would be kind of nuts. But I think she did.
Maybe not all that, but just like she was
probably
hard.
did like 20% of that. She probably, now run that back. I didn't like that.
Run that shit again.
Run that shit back,
We're
bro.
gonna be here all damn night.
Even if she said that, like, but you just have to know who you're working with. Like, if I'm a producer and I'm working with Kanye West, I know it's gonna be a disastrous process.
Yeah.
If I'm a designer and I'm working with Mr. Beast, I already know he's gonna want me to redo this shit 50 million times before it gets right.
True.
And so I think hers is just weird because this is not what you would think she was like from the outside looking in. And I also feel like
It's not just sports though, because I remember when I was doing like football, my coach was like heavy on the do it right, do it light,
Yeah.
do it wrong.
I think-
You're gonna be here all day
but
long.
that's what it is though. People are just more
Get back on the
sensitive
floor,
now.
bitch. Get on that motherfucking floor.
Who is
that's,
it?
That's I got low. You know that's I got low, right? The name low.
Really?
Yeah, they would be yelling at me like, get low, 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 and they just yelling that shit at me.
Really?
All the time, bro.
So you
That's
was too high
crazy.
the whole time?
Yeah, when I was in my 3-point stance, they were like, you need to get lower.
Really, that's
And I would go
hilarious.
through the whole bear crawl.
Yeah.
And then the fucking coach will allow me to get from one end to the next with a bear crawl. He's like, do it again.
But
That's normal.
I think times have just changed. Like, it's no longer okay to push people as much as it was like 20 years ago, for better or for worse. So
I
when
think,
she's pushing her dancers,
maybe
like,
that's,
even
like,
for me, I don't even feel comfortable
other stuff,
pushing,
but-
I don't know anybody that works for me beyond what they're capable of. I might say
It
like
makes
a
it
word of
better.
encouragement.
Nah, makes them better, trust me.
Now, for example, like when
I done got Caleb in shape a few times.
Not like I think you just let people work at their pace and you try and make them want to work hard by just having a good work environment. But sometimes that's not possible. Bro, there's nothing Walmart can do to make you want to work hard. It's
Yeah.
Walmart. You feel me?
Yeah.
You can
That's
do a
true.
minimum and for the first little bit. You might want to
Yeah,
try,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you want to coast a little bit because you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I working so hard
Exactly.
for? So I think when you have a good job, you don't. The boss doesn't need to fucking twist your arm to get you to do the things properly. But I think when you're having to fight for your pay and you know like these opportunities don't come, like when you feel the scarcity of it,
Yeah.
like I feel like it is a little manipulative, but again, people use scarcity all the time to sell fucking hoodies or to sell experiences and things of that nature. I don't think what she did was as extreme as.
I don't think
Well, it doesn't deserve this reaction. Also, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that lawsuit's gonna fall flat on his face for the most part
Really?
because there are things that are all difficult to prove, and then you have to put a number. You have to put a damage amount on it. Like
True.
aside from the banana thing, I don't know what number amount you could put to the workplace toxicity. Like
Maybe the
what are you gonna
swelling.
say that's
You
worth
could put a
$1
number on
million
that.
potentially. Like you think it deserves $1 million, you're gonna have to prove those damages, physical, emotional damages, like your mental well-being and things of that nature. I think there's gonna be all difficult things to prove. For Lizzo, this just sucks because it just makes her look bad and off-brand, and it's probably gonna turn some of her fans off that previously liked the fact that she was inclusive and loving and happy. But like, bro, it's
Happy
like
go
What
lucky.
happened to Ellen DeGeneres? Remember what that whole thing?
exactly what happened to Ellen
It's literally the
DeGeneres,
exact same thing.
except without the banana incident.
Without the bananas, bro.
That out completely.
But like,
Yeah, you're sick, man. That's, gotta keep putting that in the forefront, man.
yo, I don't know. Like, okay, look, bro. Okay, I just think the situation is blown out of proportion, bro. Lizzo, like, just try and be a little better. Fuck is you like
Offer
breaking niggas'
promotions for your
arms and shit
channel?
like that.
Damn,
Do
that's
you
crazy.
think, though, that another layer of this
I'm
is
straight there.
because they are fat women, I'm gonna just say it, that they're fat.
What?
That they've already been trying to subscribe and cater to these ideology that they don't have to do certain things to fit in, and so they're going so hard that they never actually met like this might be their first time ever going on tour and understanding what it's really like on tour life. And if you are skinnier and you got more opportunities and stuff like that, you probably already ran across this already. This is probably their first time doing this because it's probably one of the very few times that someone
I get what he's saying.
to go
I
on
get what
tour
he's saying.
that pushes them to this level. But if you are skinny and you've constantly been worried about your weight and you've been booked and you're constantly being, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just more experience.
Constantly fighting for your
It's
job,
probably,
yeah. I get what he's saying.
times of ever actually dealing with something
I
like
get
this.
that.
Yeah, and so like they're probably.
But
Just
what does
not
that mean
doing
though? Like as a rapper,
What I mean is
as
that
a rapper,
it's not
the
gonna
image,
change.
the image of a rapper is chains, tattoos, money, jewelry,
Yeah.
like all that, right?
Yeah.
So you could pretend to be inclusive and allow like people that dress like you and me but like we don't look like rappers. We don't, and we wouldn't fit the image. And if we signed to a label, they would immediately start putting tattoos on us, getting us to dress different, look different, our whole appeal. So,
But that's what
the
Lizzo,
look
like
of
you
a
said.
dancer isn't ideally the type of people Lizzo.
Exactly.
So I think she deserves some credit for the inclusion of
sure.
trying to pick people that aren't usually picked.
For sure.
You feel me? But then you can't treat them like shit or poorly because you know that they don't have that many other opportunities because then you kind of just take advantage of them.
But in her mind, it's not treating them poorly because in her mind, she's like, this is like the industry standard.
Yeah.
The problem is like you said. It's
Oh,
just
they
that-
haven't had any experiences to know the industry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
very
got.
possible.
That's what.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comment section
I got
below.
that.
Y'all trying to cancel Lizzo or not, man? Also, let us know your worst day at practice or rehearsal, man. Mine's is terrible. I've thrown that before.
Oh, no funny shit. And when you say it like that, most of us have had a worse day of practice
Yeah,
than
we've all,
those-
way worse
those
than this. Yeah.
described practices.
Way worse. And not to say that it's okay or right, but I'm just saying what I've read, bro. That shit, no. Extending rehearsal or practice a few extra hours, no.
Yo, when I was on the soccer, when I was on basketball, when I was trying out for the basketball team, the coach was like, "Hey man, some of y'all, man, you play good, but you're not in shape." I was the only fat nigga in the room. Everyone just looks at me.
That's
In
crazy.
shape, man. We're gonna need you to run 4 quarters. So unfortunately, you feel me, like, and I'm sitting there like, everyone knows you. Like, you don't have to be coy about it. Everyone knows. And the same thing happened in the soccer practice for me, where the coach just mentioned my weight. I didn't know back then. I could have just
you
lost
could've
it.
been like-
I could have just.
Lost it.
Enough with this nigga.
I've been
coach,
fat shamed by
bro.
this motherfucker, bro. You trying to tell me
Fat.
fat niggas can't hoop?
That's what I'm saying. Nigga. You seen Big Baby Davis? Stop playing with me, nigga.
Come on, bro. You
You didn't
see
even give me a fair shot. Nigga talking about I can't run up and down that court. Man, that shit.
Cherry picking.
Stop playing. You acting like I can't box out or some shit.
No, I did. I deserve to be on that team. I was just fat. That's the only
One on
reason
one
why.
right now, nigga. Coach, stop playing with me. Nigga.
Fuck you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, fuck
Mr.
you, Coach
Brown.
nigga. Put
Yo.
this shit on you in the post, boy. Stop
Yeah,
playing
no
with me.
cap, man. No
That'd be
cap.
crazy. You just start laying your coach up with some crazy shit.
Hell yeah, for not getting picked on the team. Fuck that.
Or you be that nigga who was like, still not rocking with you, nigga. You get the fuck out of here.
Nah, no cap. She just has to do better, man. Simple as that.
Facts. Yo, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, we'll see you all later. Peace.
I think my worst thing, well, the worst thing I could remember is like suicides, where you gotta run to the 5 and then to the 10. Like you gotta run 5 back, 10 back, 15 back, 20 back, or 15 back, 20 back, 25 back, 30 back, and then I had to do it like I forgot how many times I had to do it, but yeah, that shit was annoying. It's because when I joined football, right, I didn't do the summer part. And I only came throughout the school year. So it was for conditioning, right? So it was to get me back into football shape. But yeah, that was probably the hardest thing. Felt like throwing up right after. But that was probably it. It's not weird. It's sexual assault. Let's stop with the BS. If a man made his secretary do that in a club. That is true. That is true. Can't even say anything about that. Now let me know you guys' opinion down in the comments and like, subscribe. See you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night and bye.